it's a one-time cost. So you will have noticed that for insurance it's ongoing. This is a one-time. So you got to have those. We're going to distinguish. We're going to have a list of them later on. Ongoing versus one-time. You pay this to the Manitoba Titles Office. Okay. It is paid when an owner of property changes. So if it goes from my name to another person. Okay. The Manitoba government collects this as revenue. The lawyer hired to do the transaction will ensure that this money gets transferred properly. Home buyers have to be aware of this cost as it is a one-time large cost required before possession of a newly purchased home. And this is where it gets annoying. Okay, I wish they would change this. But the first $200,000 of a home is taxed according to a scale. Anything over $200,000 is taxed flat 2%. Okay, so here's what I mean by that. The first $30,000 of property, right? So let's say you buy a property worth $300,000. The first, everything up to $30,000 pays 0% tax. That would just be 0 as a decimal. Next, on the next 30,000, so from 30,000 to 90,000, basically, you would pay 0.5% taxes. What is that as a decimal? Okay, this is, pay attention to this part. 0.5 divided by 100 is 0.005. You have to get that right. If you get a 0 wrong, the whole thing will be off. On the next 60,000, so going from $90,001 to $150,000, that's $60,000 worth of value, you pay 1% tax, which is 0.01. Okay? On the next 50,000, this is so arbitrary, I don't even know who made this up, right? On the next 50,000, you pay 1.5% tax, which is 0.015. Anything over 200,000 is flat 2%, so it's 0.02. Okay? So this here is basically the first 200,000 is tiered taxed. Meaning it's not just a flat rate, it's like every portion of the first 200,000 has a different taxing rate, which is very frustrating. But you can do it. I'll show you the cheat that I made so that it works every time. If you do that, you will get it right every single time. Okay? Here's a visual of what's happening. So imagine your first $200,000 worth of taxes. The first 30K is right here. The first 30,000 pay no taxes. If you want to follow the colors that I'm using, help yourself. On the next $60,000, so from here to here, okay, you pay 0.5%. So technically, this would be 0, right? This would be 30,000. If you add another 60,000, you get to 90,000. I'm running out of colors, but the next one is pink for me. On the next $60,000, right, you pay 1%. Think about it. From 90,000, if you add another 60,000, that gets you to 150,000. And then the last one, the last bracket is the 50,000, which gets taxed 1.5%. What's 150 plus another 50,000? That gets you to the $200,000 value. Okay. Can you do a mind exercise with me? If a house is worth $70,000, guys. If a house is worth, good luck with that. But let's say a house is worth 70,000. Where would you be approximately? It would put you right about there. You would be like in this range right here. So there's a way to calculate how much taxes you would pay. If your house is 120,000, you're going to be somewhere in here. So the taxing would be this portion, and a little bit of that pink portion. If your house is $199,000, you would go all the way up to here. You would be right about there, closer to 200,000 mark. So you would pay taxes here, which is zero, right? These taxes, and then almost all of the yellow part you would pay. So a house value can be anywhere in between here, okay? So, follow me here. This is how I do land transfer tax, okay guys? I don't know how to do this on your cheat sheet, but I'm just gonna say, if it's asking for the land transfer tax on a house that's worth $385,000, I go like this. Notice this chart up here. I go minus 30,000. Why? They do not have to do that, guys. You just go to the bathroom and back, guys. Seriously. 30,000. You pay 0% taxes on that. So we go 0. Okay? You don't pay any on the first 30,000. Have your calculator ready. So 385,000. You take away the 30,000. You're left with 355,000 of value of the home. What's the next amount, the next bracket? $60,000 worth of taxes. So sorry, that we're gonna tax. You take away the 60,000. How much is that tax, guys? And as a decimal, 0.005. We're gonna do the timesing later, okay, guys? Let's just work through this step right here. If you take 60,000 away, that gets me to 295,000. What's the next category to subtract here? 60,000 again. Take away 60,000. This 60,000 gets taxed 1%. We'll figure that out later. Let's keep going. That's 235,000 that you're left with. Keep going. Got to keep going until you can't go anymore. What's the next amount I need to subtract? 50,000. So you subtract 50,000. That gets taxed 0.015. Take away 50,000. Now you're left with $185,000 of value. Let me show you here using the colors. I took away the 30,000. I took away the 60,000. I took away another 60,000. So I went through my chart here. Then I took away another 50,000. And now I no longer have anything to subtract. Okay? If you look up here, I don't have anything to subtract. So anything that is, once you've gone through these steps, guys, you tax it 2% flat. You'd stop subtracting and just go multiply this by 0.02 flat. Okay? And we got to keep doing some math. Yeah. Yes, let me just finish this and then we'll do the table, okay? Okay, now you got to do the math here. 60,000 times 0.0005. That is $300 that you would pay for that chunk. Okay? Then you go $60,000 times 1%. You can probably guess what that's going to be. $600 for that chunk. The next is 50,000 times 0.015. That's $750. And this is the biggest one. The remaining $185,000 we're going to tax 2%. So 185,000 times 0.02. That gets me to $3,700 that you're going to have to pay for that chunk. Okay? And now, total land transfer tax is going to be 0 plus 300 plus 600 plus 750 plus 3,700. So you add that all up. This house, if you're wanting to buy this house, guys, and this is exactly how much you're going to have to pay. For a house worth $385,000, you're going to pay $5,300 in land transfer tax. The government loves it. If you were to buy and sell your house 15 times over your lifetime, they will love it, because every time you buy a house, you're paying this to them. If you just buy one house and you stay there for the rest of your life, you're only going to pay this land transfer tax once, okay? And so they don't make as much. Let's do one more. Let's go to page 56, okay? By the way, I'm always going to give you this table, and the province will always give you this table right here. They will just not give you these decimals here. Okay, you'll just have that chunk there. Okay, one more time. Land transfer tax for a house worth $135,000. Subtract $30,000 from it. Times 0. That leaves me with $105,000. Sorry. Right? Then you subtract the next amount, which is $60,000. This is going to be a little different. You'll find out in a bit. This is 0.005. Take away 60,000. You're left with 45,000. And this is where it gets interesting. Pay close attention. The next amount is 60,000, right? Can I subtract 60,000 from 45,000? No. So you stop subtracting, but what interest rate am I in, or what's the tax rate here? It's 1%. So you go times 0.01, like whatever that tax rate would have been, you stop subtracting, right? Stop subtracting if negative. You can't keep going, okay? So this gives me $0. This gives me $300. This gives me $450. This is a little bubble here. So land transfer tax in total would be 300 plus 450, which is $750. So it's very reasonable if your house isn't that expensive. Okay. Can I just highlight this part? I want to highlight, where did I get the 1 from? I got it from here. Okay, the fact that we were in this tax bracket at the end. Okay, we went through the 0, went through this one, the next one we were in that. Okay, and that's how you get your land transfer tax. Can I ask you to try the rest of 56? So homework is just page 56. Try that. See how that goes for you. We'll do more of this tomorrow.